Everybody, and welcome to my sailing lesson on hypothermia. So today, it's hypothermia we're going to be learning about. And yeah, so does anybody know what hypothermia is? Will, do you have an answer? No? Okay. Does anybody have any ideas what hypothermia is?
Yeah, that's when you get really cold.
Yeah.
You get excessively cold.
Okay, you get really cold, right?
Yes.
You get really cold. Okay? So it's when your body temperature, like your whole body, it gets colder than it's supposed to be, and things start getting like slower, and your brain isn't functioning right because it's so cold. So do you have any idea what kind of things happen when you get hypothermia? Like what kind of things will happen to your body?
Feel numb?
Feel numb? Okay. Okay. Will, do you have any idea?
Well, your feet get really cold and and you start shivering.
Yeah, shivering.
Really...
That's a good one. Okay.
Do you get disoriented?
Yeah,
Your thinking process is stopping?
You actually, you lose a little bit of. You can sometimes lose consciousness a little bit, and you do get very disoriented, and you get kind of confused. So. You get disoriented. Anything else? Have you ever, hey Dad, have you ever tried to grab something when your hands are really cold?
It's very hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. So sometimes you might say you would do what? Like it would be hard to
grab things?
Hard to move around. You lose coordination. Okay, and those are some of the things that happen when you have hypothermia. Okay? So, I'm just gonna erase this. Okay, so while I'm erasing this, does anybody tell me what do you think some of the ways to treat hypothermia are? If you're getting really cold, what do you think some of the ways to warm up are?
Give them a nice glass of hot chocolate.
Get the person dried off first?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, well if they were on the water, yeah, that would be a very good way.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
you want to get. Okay, you want to. Okay, so the treatment you want to. Yeah, that's right. You want to get them nice and dry off. Okay, anything else?
Nice hot cup of hot chocolate.
Exactly. You want something nice, warm, something warm to drink because you don't want. Actually, it's actually bad to have something too hot because if you get from really cold to really hot, it can actually be bad for you because your body won't be able to adjust quick enough. So you want something warm, but hot chocolate is a great example.
Not too hot chocolate.
Exactly. Okay.
Should you get them moving around a little bit? Or is that not a good idea?
It's okay to get them moving around, but sometimes they won't be exactly they'll be kind of confused and disoriented, and they might not be able to move around too much, so you might want to just get them warm and get them inside a place that's very warm.
Okay,
So
away from the wind.
Mm-hmm. So if you're out in the cold, one thing you can do from getting them away from the cold? What do you think, Dad?
Maybe put up a windshield or a blanket?
Mm-hmm. So, one other thing you could do is, we're inside a building right now, so you could bring them inside. So you can bring them inside, right?
What about a dry set of clothing?
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely off, but I'd say dry off kind of goes with that. But actually, Dad, you mentioned it a couple seconds ago, is definitely a warm set of clothing, blankets.
How about a hug if you don't have a blanket?
Oh, you don't want to give them hugs because it could put you in danger, because you don't want to be putting yourself in danger, because if you're trying to rescue somebody and you get too cold to rescue them, that's now making two people who are too cold to do anything. So you want to get them blankets. And I'm going to put what you said with that warm clothes, right? Okay, so that's kind of some of the things you can do to treat hypothermia. But if it's really bad hypothermia, what's the one thing you always want to do if something's really, really terrible? What do you think? Well,
Oh, call a hospital.
yeah, you might want to call them. If it's really, really bad, you're going to call 911. Okay? So there's some of the things you can do if somebody has hypothermia. Okay, but the best way to treat hypothermia is to not get it in the first place, to stop it from happening. So what do you think some of the things you can do to stop hypothermia? Okay, what do you think some of the things you can do to stop it in the first place?
Wear like snowsuits.
Well, if you're going at sailing, it'll be a bit hard, but yeah, that is along the right lines. Warm clothes, right? The one thing you want to do with warm clothes is, do you want to have one big snowsuit and then just a t-shirt underneath?
Layers.
Layers, exactly. Okay? So what other thing can you do to stop hypothermia from happening? Like, before you go out sailing, what are some things you can do to check that it'll be a good time?
Check the weather. Don't go out in cold weather.
Yeah, it's very good. Check the weather. Okay? So you would definitely want to check the weather, because if it's too cold out to go sailing, you can actually, it makes it faster for this kind of thing to happen. Though actually, I don't know if you know this, but it's actually, you can actually get hypothermia on even a hot weather day if you go out for too long, or if you're not prepared and you go out and you get in the water and out of the water really quickly too much of the time, because you can actually get hypothermia up to 20 degrees Celsius of water, like heat is the water. So yeah, so that's one thing you got to watch out for. Anything else, do you think?
I think you could, because being wet is associated with hypothermia, that you could sail less aggressively or try not to get into the water in the first place.
Yeah, that's always something for sailing. But yeah, just not getting wet in the first place is good. It's going to be hard to do when you're out sailing. So it's a good, stay dry. It's a very good one. So if you go out on a day you think there's good winds and but it's really rainy or it's cold or something, staying dry is a great way to stop that from happening. Anything else? There's one more thing that I can think of.
What about wetsuits and dry suits?
Yeah, well, that's going to say be warm clothes.
How about staying hydrated? Does that help?
Well, it's not exactly associated with hypothermia, but I'm sure.
Or like drinking warm drinks,
Yeah,
like bringing along.
if you're out on the water and you're
Oh, you
sailing,
can't really
you
do
can't
that.
bring. Well, you could, but you'd have to bring it with a coach boat, which is
Okay.
where I would be. And then, so there's one other thing, and I would say is if you're going out, it's more of a general safety thing. So I'm not surprised that you guys didn't get it, because it's something only I would really be able to tell you. It's definitely if you're going out sailing by yourself, you got to let somebody know, and you have to have somebody somewhere dry to be, like before and after you go out sailing. So plan ahead. And that kind of encompasses all of these. You want to always know what you're going to do before you do it. Okay, so that is one thing we're doing for hypothermia. But I'm going to let you guys kind of figure out some of the things that hypothermia looks like for yourself. So I'm going to partner you up, and I want one person to pretend they're having hypothermia, okay? And I want somebody else to try to rescue them. Okay, so Dad and Will, do you want to be partners?
Okay.
Okay?
I'll be the cold guy.
Okay. Okay, yeah. And you're going to get confused and...
Oh, okay.
Okay, and Will, do you want to kind of try to help him out?
Sure.
Okay, so he's outside in the cold though. What do you want to do to him? If
I
he
need
does-
to dry him up.
Yeah,
So let me get this. Help.
yeah. You can use some of the stuff I have over here. Yeah, and there's a towel that's nice and warm. Okay, but he's outside. He's outside and he's really cold. What do you want to bring him?
A blanket.
No, if he's outside and he's really cold, where do you want to bring him?
Mm.
If you're still out on the lake sailing, where do you want to bring him so he's not out in the cold anymore? Do you think?
We should bring him into land.
Exactly. Okay, so bring him on indoors. Just do a little move one chair and then sit back down. Okay, you're inside now. Okay.
Feeling better already.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm sure Dad's pretty afraid because he's really cold. He's probably not feeling great. What do you want to kind of tell him? You want to say,
Well, you should have prepared before when you go sailing.
Now is not the time for an I told you so. Well, try to. So one thing you want to do is you want to try to be really nice to the person. You want to say, "Hey, Dad, are you okay? I know it's pretty scary to be this cold, but is there anything I can get you to warm you up? Okay?" Or,
chocolate.
okay. So actually, there's some things over there if you want to grab one. Oh, look at that! It's a hot drink. So. Yeah, and then Dad could drink that, and it would be probably better.
It's very warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about
so,
this blanket?
Oh yeah, look right there. There's
This
a blanket you can bring in. It's very good. Okay, you might want to. Yeah, it's probably Dad's probably feeling a lot better. And is he feeling? Are you feeling like unconscious or anything? Or you're staying conscious though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so what you'll probably want to do is you're probably going to want to make sure somebody knows that Dad is this cold, okay? Because if he's not freezing, you're going to want to make sure that somebody has been told. So come over here. I'm the instructor. Hi, Will. What is the problem that you have?
My friend here is cold, and it looks like he had hypothermia.
Okay, if he has hypothermia, we got to get him. It's very good. You did a very good job. You got him inside. You got him a hot drink and a blanket. Okay, great job. Okay, so we might have to bring him to the hospital if he's too cold, but we'll see about that. Okay, does anybody else want to turn?
Okay.
No?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm
Do you
cold.
want to be the person who's cold or the person who's rescuing?
Oh, you cold.
Okay, I can be the rescue person.
Okay.
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 So where are we? Are we out in the
So
water?
we're starting over again. We're out in the water.
Okay. Okay. So and I'm trying to rescue. Excuse me. What's wrong with you?
I'm cold.
Okay. I think what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go inside, and we'll get you indoors. And do you think you feel like you could use a hot drink? Okay. We'll get you a hot drink.
We're gonna bring him inside. Yeah.
And
Stand up and sit down in the other chair there.
okay.
Okay.
And actually, I'll get you while I'm getting you the hot drink. I'll get you a blanket. Okay. Here you go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is he's still wearing his freezing cold
Oh,
clothes right now?
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Is there anything-
do you feel? Now, would I get him to? What would I do to get him to change? Like, would I just get him to change, in the change room or
So
something?
what you would do is if he's
Okay.
feeling up to it,
Mm-hmm.
and there's clothes around.
Yep.
You get him a towel and
Okay.
you'd say, "Do you feel like is it okay if you? Are you able to change yourself?" And if he's not, if he's too
Okay.
cold or if he's unconscious or something,
Mm-hmm.
then what you want to do is want to get him inside, get him warm,
Okay.
like just like you're doing. That's very very good.
Okay.
Okay, and say that's a towel.
Okay.
Okay,
So
here's
here's a
that
towel
stuff
for
is very
you,
good.
and here's a blanket now that you're inside.
Now,
And I remember now that you said I had to tell the instructor as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So I would get him first on the way in. I would say, instructor, I have to mention to you that Will was out on the water
Mhm.
and he's extremely cold. His teeth are chattering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
that's
everything
very
I have
good.
to do. Okay.
Mhm. So one thing that I'm going to ask you is, if there's no clothes around and he's only wearing his wet, cold clothes,
That you should take them off.
do you think you should take them off?
Yeah.
And if there's no blankets around or anything, should I take them off or keep them on? Do you think?
I actually think they should take them off because it's probably worse to have the wet clothes than
Well, if he
to have no clothes.
if there's nothing else and he's out and just on the water, even if the only clothes he has are the wet ones and cold ones.
Yeah.
You should keep, if there's nothing else around, if you can't bring him indoors or anything,
The
you
wet
should-
ones
it's
are
better. It's better to keep the wet ones on.
Okay. Okay. I didn't
Because
know
that keeps it still insulates his body.
Okay. Okay.
Keeps his
so
body
it's-
warm.
Okay. I didn't realize
Mm.
that. I thought it would drive. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
So, does anybody have any questions before we close off the lesson?
Good job, Ben. Thanks for the lesson.
No questions?
Yeah. How do they? What does the hospital do about hypothermia?
Okay, I think the hospital kind of, they warm them up and they check them, and the hospital for very, very, like what we're dealing with usually when we're sailing is just people who get sort of cold and you just need to warm them up and bring them. If they get severely cold, then they'll bring them to a hospital and will treat them for hypothermia specifically, and they'll give them like correct things to bring their body temperature like to its correct state, and they will give them, if they're unconscious or anything, they'll give them the correct treatment for that. Yep. Okay, Will, do you have any questions? No? Okay, thanks for helping me out with this lesson.